Hey, you guys, happy Tuesday, 12 o'clock-ish Central Time. I'm Tricia Turner. This is Walk Away Wealthy. Super excited today. Well, first of all, what is Walk Away Wealthy? We're 3 years running a live podcast. This is to bring you positive messages, real information to help you grow your business, improve your life, and like to bring people's stories to you. And so every week there's somebody different on here with me, usually a friend of mine, and we're usually talking about real estate and what's going on in the market. We've been really talking about that in the last few months because market updates have been all over the place. And the fake news people have been telling you all the housing market's crashing and all kinds of crazy stuff. So we've been fighting that. But we've got even more stuff hitting the media now with these lawsuits. And so now I had to bring you one of my favorite people in the world. Number one, he's like an icon. Number two, he's just super cool. And he's going to give us the real story on these lawsuits and Remax. So I want to welcome Nimesh Patel, owner of Remax Fine Properties right here in Houston, Texas. Hi.
Woo-hoo. Hey. Thanks for having me, Tricia. Look, you're one of my favorite people as well. You're so positive. You're so knowledgeable. You're just so good with people in general. So when you asked for me to do this, I didn't even hesitate. I'm like, yep, as long as it's on my schedule, I'm there. So appreciate you.
So for you guys that don't know Nimesh, if you're in Houston, you don't know Nimesh, you're crazy because everybody does. But for you guys that are paying attention, Nimesh is the owner of Remax Fine Properties. But Nimesh, can you kind of give a little bit of a backstory about your organization? Because you guys are amazing here in Houston.
Sure. No, I appreciate that. So I'm the broker owner of Remax Fine Properties. It's in Houston and now in Austin.
Woo!
So earlier this year, I went and opened up a Remax Fine Properties branch in Austin. So I have about 35 agents over there now. Good. And about 130 of them here in Houston, So we're definitely in growth mode and, we'll see. San Antonio, Dallas next. I don't know. We'll see. And then I also do have my own personal team called the Nimesh Patel Group. So I'm in the trenches with everybody, right? It's open book to all my agents on how I do things and what I do, but it's a top producing team. So, I think as a broker owner, if I'm not in the trenches with you, I don't know what you're really going through, whether it's appraisal issues, whether it's new construction issues, interest rates. I feel like I'm in tune with all my agents. So it helps me coach and mentor them a little bit better. And yeah, that's who we are.
Hey, Nimesh, how long has Remax Fine Properties been there?
Let's see. It was here before me, 1999. But 2002 is when I joined as an agent. And, I was a younger kid, and I was like, oh, Remax. Okay, well, I see the balloon everywhere, but I'm not really jiving with the people here. So I left and I went to two different firms inside the loop. And I just wanted to do other things. But then I just realized the importance of a big name behind you and came back and ended up buying it as a broker. So I've been the broker since 2009.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. And y'all, if you don't know, their population there grows organically, not because, and this is not a knock at Remax at all, because I think Remax is a great organization, but it's Nimesh. People seek him out because he's super freaking cool. It's just the truth.
I appreciate that, Tricia. No, to be completely fair and honest with you, I respect everybody in the real estate industry because I know what everybody has to go through. And, what works for me doesn't work for you. What works for you doesn't work for the next person, et cetera. And that's fine. You find your own niche. You find what the right environment is for you. You find your right coaches and mentors and all that. And that's totally fine. There's hundreds of people out there that can do that, right? But eventually, or not eventually, but I love my brand behind me, just like you love your brand behind you. But ultimately, whether it's customers or agents, they want to see us. They don't want us to be, here, I'm going to just collect rent from you, that kind of stuff. They want us to be there to coach, mentor, and help them. And so, I have to stay present in the industry. I have to stay present with my agents and all that so that they want to follow me, So, that's kind of what I do.
You guys out there in the world, we believe in collaborating. We believe in being better together because we are. He's right down the street from me. He literally, y'all, and we collaborate with a bunch of brokers. he's in, like he said, in the trenches. He's in his office every day with his people. He's not an absentee owner, like just out there on the golf course. He's in there with them, like schooling them, like holding them accountable. This is what we do. This is who we are. This is why he grows like he does. This is why they've done all the things that Remax has done. So I freaking love all that you do, Nimesh.
Thank you. And let me kind of piggyback off of that. You're right. I've known you for a long time, and I've watched you. You watch me, and all that. But we've never had any issues because we talk, right? And so with this whole new collaboration group that we've got going on, Better Together, I love it because I learned so much from you. Hopefully, you learned something from me. We learned from the other guys in our group, and all of that is to show our agents or the people that are watching us how to be better together, right? And look, I don't know it all. If I knew it all, then I don't know, I should retire because I think that's when you die, when you think you know it all.
Same.
I don't know it all, and so if I can learn from people like you, and we can sit there and give it back to the rest of the community because we've been doing this for so long, that's what it's all about for sure. So
Yep. Now, you guys, if you haven't been paying attention to the news, and things have been going on for several months now, actually years, but it's just hit the forefront the last few months. The real estate industry is getting rocked again, just like we have been since COVID hit. We got a new one coming, and it's just going to take a snowball effect now, and that's the commission lawsuits. So it's been all over the news. It's now not only a class action lawsuit, it's a national class action lawsuit. That means it's in all 50 states. You will see all real estate brokerages get brought into it. You will see teams get brought into it. We're going to talk a lot about that and how Nimesh and I feel about that and what really are the facts behind that. Number one, I wanted Nimesh to come on. Actually, I hesitated bringing this to public awareness because it stirs the pot a little bit.
right, it does.
It does. But you know what? I would rather us bring it to the forefront with like reality. And this is what we're doing, and being proactive and educating people that aren't aware of really what this means for our industry and what it could mean. And I know Nimesh is going to be truthful. I know he's going to have no filter, and he's going to tell you exactly how he feels. And he's going to talk to you about Remax, who was named as one of the first people that settled in it. And what does that mean for Remax? And why did they do that? Because he knows and we do not. So Nimesh, let's talk about lawsuits. Number one, can you explain your kind of take on what's going on with these lawsuits in our industry?
Whew. All right. Well, that's a loaded question, but Tricia, I'm gonna do exactly what you said. I'm gonna be unfiltered, straightforward, blunt. Okay. I think the lawsuits are a joke as far as why they're happening. Look, in every single industry, there's some bad apples. There's always bad apples, right? But to take down this multi-billion-dollar industry that's actually here to help people, I think that these lawyers are really in it for the money grab. I really, truly believe that. When they're sitting here trying to devalue what we do for clients and customers, but yet their commissions and their percentages and all that. I mean, I don't know if you saw that first one. They stand to gain $800 million. The attorneys do.
Yep.
And as a class action lawsuit, I think if you did the math, I can't remember exact numbers anymore, but if you did the math, if everybody actually paid out and won that lawsuit, I think the consumer each get $800 each or something like that,
Yep.
but the attorneys walk away with 800 million, so it's all a joke to me when it comes to that. But what I will say this is that I don't dismiss it. I don't push it under the rug, because as always, we're always trying to be better. So if we see something like this come to the forefront, we want to make sure that our practices are good. We want to make sure that we are transparent. We want to make sure that we are valued what we really think of our value, and that the consumer and the customer sees that same value as well. So, it's kind of brought some positive things to us, right? Some positive things. But ultimately, I think that when you have 99.9% of the real estate industry doing it the right way, and you have a 0.1% maybe doing some things wrong, you can't take down the whole industry. I think that's defamation, honestly. So that's my quick, true impression of this whole lawsuit,
I'll tell you one thing, Nimesh. When the first lawsuit hit, it was in Missouri, and it's like, it was theirs, that big one, it's whatever it is, it is. I got interviewed by the New York Times, a phone interview, and they asked about the commission. And this was before it hit Texas. And I said, I can't speak on what happens in Missouri and all these other states. I can speak on Texas, where we've been doing it for over 20 years and in the history of real estate. all of our agreements are in writing. It's black and white, who gets what, why they're doing it, what the fee is, what it covers. So I really wasn't concerned about Texas. Now they're all in, all 50 states are all in it. And you guys, what these dumbass lawyers have come together and insinuated is that we in the broker world got together, like Nimesh and I got together, and we decided across the board, we're charging this fee. It's non negotiable. It is what it is. We're going to hide it from the sellers. We're not going to tell the sellers what we're charging them. We're going to keep that in the gray area and not let them know what it's covered. And now there's lawsuits saying that we got caught. We got caught doing that, Nimesh.
Yeah, and that's a part that it really makes me laugh, right, Tricia?
Yeah.
And so here's something that I haven't told the public, but I'll share with you now here in the public, right? So I actually got subpoenaed, okay, for that lawsuit. I got subpoenaed, part of the Remax system, and so they picked a couple of us all around the country and our Remax brokers, and I was like the perfect person because not only do I run a big, successful brokerage, but I also run my own personal team.
Yeah.
So when I got subpoenaed, oh my God, this is going to blow your mind. Literally, they have a third-party technology company that plugs into my computer, and I have to walk away, and they go through my whole computer, all my emails, my calendar, my systems, my CRM, everything. And they have this whole program that works. Obviously, they're way smarter than I am with the IT stuff. And so they went through my whole computer for 2 days so they can read and see every single thing. And they had certain buzzwords that they're looking for and there's certain things. But here's the best part about it. I didn't care. I was like, here you go. I mean, here's my whole thing. You can go back and look at. And just to give some kind of perspective, when I got subpoenaed for this, I think we had just finished doing right around $900 million in volume. So that's a lot of volume right there,
Yes.
right? So $900 million in volume, that many, like 3,000 plus transactions, and then my own personal team and everything. So they had access to all of that. And I wasn't scared because we don't do that, Tricia. You and I have never talked commissions. Nobody here really talks that way. But kind of going back to what you said, in Texas, we have it all laid out. We're very transparent. You look at a listing agreement, it tells you exactly what we can negotiate it. Here's what I'm going to charge you. And then it shows that you're going to also pay a buyer's agent if you want to. If you don't, then let me know if I want to share my commissions. It's just very transparent here. And I think in other states, as I've learned and talked to a lot of people around the country, I've learned that they do have different practices, and
Yeah.
maybe they need to change their practices overall as an industry. But there's no colluding. There's no all the big boys, Real and EXP and Keller Williams and Remax, and all of us got together and said, hey, this is what we're doing, and we're screwing everybody up. That's never happened. Show me where that's happened. They can't show me that.
When they were looking through your computer, Nimesh, so that everyone kind of understands, what were they looking for?
They were looking for any kind of communication where I set standard rates for commissions, and that I not only did that, but then I also collaborated with the broker down the street, or Keller Williams, or or even another Remax. They wanted to look for anything like that there was any kind of collaboration, that we were setting standard fixed pricing for ourselves. Again, I have nothing to hide. With that many transactions and that much volume, you would think somebody might think, well, maybe they might find something. Nope, not one thing. Because no, we don't do that. And I know if they did that to you, you'd say, here you go. Here's my computer. Right. Check everything,
Right. Now, I know there's a lot of people, because a lot of people watch this, and most of them are in the real estate world. So immediately someone's mind's thinking, well, okay, we saw Remax like settled. Isn't that admitting guilt? Nimesh, can you talk? And I know there's probably some stuff you can't talk about because this is an ongoing thing. But if you could share with the public, like, what did that mean and why did Remax settle?
So great question, Tricia, great question. And a lot of this is above my pay grade too, right? But I'm very connected with corporate Remax. So I get a lot of good information from them, what they can share. I'll say this. We are in a business, are we not? Don't you run your own business? Yep. And then all the agents underneath you, whether they're with you or they're somewhere else, whatever it is, they also run their own business, the business of themselves, right? So we also have to make some practical decisions on how our business is going to thrive in the future, right? We joke around a lot of times, like, we don't have a paycheck every single day we wake up, we don't have a paycheck coming, right? Until we actually do something and close and all that. So you have to look at it from the business perspective. So what Remax did was looked at it, saw what was going on, saw what kind of where they were heading with this, where it could keep going, and all the copycat ones that are going to come up after that. And they made a business decision. And we settled, but we made it very clear in the settlement, which is in, you can read the settlement. It literally says we are not admitting any kind of guilt whatsoever. What we are agreeing to do is to enhance and change some of our practices to be even more transparent than we already are. And that Remax as a whole, what they were also looking out for, they were looking out for all of us brokers. So we're independent, brokerages underneath them, in franchise model, and then all of our agents as well. So with Remax settling for that, and now that I look back at what's been going on here this past month, we're definitely happy about that, because now I'm protected and my agents are protected. We show all these big numbers as far as sales and volume and all that, but ultimately somebody starts to sue me, that's going to take down my business just because we don't have the financials to deal with that kind of stuff. So that was the whole main reason we wanted to get it done, move on, continue to protect everyone, and let's go. But we never admitted any kind of guilt. We made that clear in our documentation, which anybody can read. And then last Monday was a preliminary hearing for the judge to sign off on it, and they agreed to it. So we got a preliminary yes. So we're actually, again, going up the right way right now. So,
all right. So I know for consumers and real estate agents, first of all, some of you guys don't even know about this. Number two, it gets very complicated. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nimesh, in my understanding, because I do, I'm obsessed with this. I study this stuff like crazy.
right.
So when that first lawsuit where NAR got found guilty and Keller Williams Keller Williams fought it, but the people that were found guilty was Keller Williams and NAR. In that lawsuit, now, of course, there's a trickling effect. The guilty verdict comes in, then you've got everybody under the sun filing these lawsuits. What I have read is that because you guys, Remax, settled ahead of this guilty verdict, that you're protected from any further class action suits. Is that the case?
So short answer, yes.
I thought so.
Long answer, I don't know, because we're a litigious country, right? So there's always something that can happen. But from 90% of what I understand and read and have been instructed is that we are protected from any kind of class action federal lawsuit for any type like this from here on out. So what Remax as a corporation did was protect all of its 5,000 brokers around the country, and then all of the 70,000 real estate agents underneath us the whole time. So I think we're good. I'm still very wary of it, but as long as we keep the same practices that we are, then, we're going to be fine. But, now that you mentioned that, look what happened here in Texas just 2 weeks ago, right? Copycat lawsuits are coming up everywhere. And so they named off pretty much anybody and everybody that's, somewhat big, because you start off with the big boys first and foremost, right? And then you do the trickle down effect because you know that you got some precedent. Well, I mean, not to be, arrogant here, but I'm one of the big boys here in Houston. And the fact that I wasn't named, but all my peers around me were, I was like, oh, whew, a sigh of relief. I'm not happy because my peers, I'm not happy that they got named, because I feel like they haven't done anything wrong. But I was happy that I could protect my people. So yeah, so as of right now, Remax will not be named. A couple of more came up. And then here's the funny thing. I read through the Houston one or the Texas one, and we're still named as co-conspirators, but not as defendants.
Yep, I saw that. Isn't that crazy? Okay, so you guys, follow this. Now, and people don't understand this stuff. If you think of it like this, like $1.6 billion was the guilty verdict that just came down now a month ago, and the judge still hasn't ruled on it, but he will. So if you put triple damages onto that, you're at $5.36 billion in damages. Well, that will bankrupt NAR. It will bankrupt every company involved in that, because even Remax, as big as they are, you can't sustain damages like that. Nobody can.
No, look, Tricia, you put Remax, Keller Williams, Berkshire Hathaway, anywhere, Real, EXP, you put all of us together, we couldn't pay off $5.4 billion.
No.
All of us together. That's what I'm saying. It's just, what are you doing to the economy of the United States? What are you doing to the industry of real estate agents, but not just real estate agents and everybody that we touch, from lenders to title companies to, you're trying to ruin and take down a business that is actually helping people. And
Yep.
then ultimately what's going to happen? You're going to, I can go on and on about the things that consumers are going to get screwed on from here on out if this keeps going like this, you know?
Think about it, Nimesh. As long as you and I have been doing business, our fees that we charge have never wavered. We have never went up. We've charged the same fee we've charged forever. However, if you go get your appendix removed, these surgeon fees increase every year or every freaking month, and they're not negotiable. It's not like you can be like, I don't think you need 4 nurses in the room with me. Take off, $5,000 of that. This is their fee to what they charge to help you. This is our fee, what we charge to help you.
Hey, has anyone asked the attorneys, hey, can we take those fees down, the 800 million that you guys stand to win on this,
Yes.
How about them, right? What are their fees? They didn't come in there saying, oh, well, no, they came in and say, here's what we're going to charge. Now we're going to go after these guys, right? It's exact same thing. And I love that example for the doctor's office. I've actually used that same thing. You walk in here, here's what the fees are. We're transparent. As long as you're transparent and they know what's going on. And I can't speak for the rest of the country, but like you said, Texas, it's very clear. It's laid out. And not only is it laid out from the very beginning on every paperwork that you sign and what we go over, it's on our MLS, but then it's also in the closing statement. In the closing statement, everything is laid out exactly how it should be for full transparency. So I don't see where they have a leg to stand on, but apparently 12 jurors in Missouri felt like, yeah, so
crazy. So then because there's a lot of rumors that are going around about what this settlement means. So we've talked a little bit about the money, and I actually, when I saw that Remax had settled, I was like, wow, that sucks. I can't believe that they did that. Now, no one figured that Keller Williams and NAR were going to get found guilty. But now that guilty verdict got delivered, it's like, oh, holy crap, you actually got protected.
Yep.
Hopefully, as it looks, from all this madness that's being created. A couple of things that stem from that, though, that are kind of gray or untalked about. One is that Remax no longer has to belong to NAR. Is that true?
So it's an interesting question, right? Remax Corporate has never told us that we have to be a part of NAR or any of our MLS boards, right? So what you know just as well as I do is that real estate is localized to where you live and what goes on in your community. So we already talked about the differences between different states. Now let's talk about different boards. You and I both know that we can't sell real estate in Houston if we're not part of HAR, right? I mean, it's just almost impossible to do. So it's our choice. Remax does not dictate that. So Remax does not say, do not be a part of NAR. Because I know Redfin came out and said, we're leaving NAR. Remax never said that, but they never said that we have to be either.
Okay.
They just know that very simply, if you want to be a part of these boards and this and that, and you want the commission agreements and all that, that's between you and your board. And so they're always been fine with that. So they didn't tell us to leave like Redfin did, but they also never made us do it from the very beginning. So
now the third thing in question there is the rumor going around that part of the Remax settlement was that Remax brokerages, and according to what I read, they're all can be done differently, but on a corporate level, it also said that Remax has advised that their offices no longer can offer a buyer agent commission. Is that true?
No, not at all. Where do we?
Glad you did this.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Okay.
The thing about a franchise model is that they have certain legal language in there to protect the corporation as a whole, right? Which makes sense. But then to lay out the right groundwork for all of us to be successful, And so what I can say at best is we're all independent contractors. We're all independent brokerages. We can do whatever we want, however we want, as long as we're not, defaming our corporate, our parent, right?
Yeah.
So we can do whatever we want, however we want. They've never dictated. They've never said anything like that. They never, no, not one bit, not one.
Wow.
Yeah.
So glad you cleared that up, because that was like one of the first things that I heard and read as soon as Remax settled. I was like, holy crap, they're going to be the first ones to not offer a buyer agent fee.
No, not at all. In fact, the thing is, look, how do I say this without, okay, I'll just say it. I work damn hard to sell somebody's house. I work very hard, just like you do, right? But I want to make my life a tad bit easier and make my client get the best thing possible for them, the right amount of money, the right timetable, the right everything about the contract. And the only way I can do that is that if I can open up my sphere of people. If I say that I'm the only one that's selling this and I'm not offering any kind of compensation, well, then I'm limiting for my clients, right? I'm never
Yep.
going to do that. I'm always going to respect that there's many brokerages and agents out there that have lots of buyers from all over the place that I'm going to want to come and help bid on my seller's house, right? So I will always be offering that up, offering part of my commissions up to a buyer's agent.
So, number one, like, thank you so much for sharing all that because that was like really
Yeah.
such a highly talked about conversation that no one really had clear answers to. So, you did. So, now let's talk off of Remax. So, thank
Mhm.
you for all that. Let's talk in general real estate
Yeah.
because, again, you and I, we collaborate together. We're here to build Houston and beyond and make it incredible industry and help our industry and help our agents live in abundance and not be eliminated. What do you think all of this lawsuits that are just now getting going are going to do to us in 2024 in our industry?
I think I think it's okay to have a self-reflection, right? So our industry is about to have a self-reflection, but I think every agent and every broker should have a self-reflection as well. Am I doing the best I can to help the people around me? Because that's our ultimate job is to help people, right? That's our
Yep.
ultimate job, right? And so I think what's going to happen is that whether it's market conditions, whether it's interest rates, whether it's this lawsuit, I think a lot of agents are going to get out of the business because they don't want to have that self reflection and see what it takes to actually be a better agent. Ultimately, you know what you do every single day. I know what I do every single day. I perfect my craft. This is
Mhm.
my craft. This is my livelihood. I want to perfect it more and more and more so that the people that I touch are enlightened in a good way. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to learn how to be better at my value proposition. I'm going to maybe increase my value proposition. I'm going to be able to talk about, hey, here's what I charge and here's why. And I want you to see the difference between me and X over here, you know?
Yeah.
And I think with agents that are ready to, roll up their sleeves and really get into that and really help the consumer, I think it's going to be great. I really do. But the ones that just, just like every industry, you got the people that just fly by night. They're not going to make it here.
What I've seen, Nimesh, and I've spoken about this privately, but now I'm just going to say it. If you look at the grand scheme of things, and again, we don't know, we don't have a crystal ball, and this is just getting the steamroller going. There's independent brokerages out there. Some are small, some are large. They're not part of something big. They're in fear right now, as they should be, because if
Mhm.
they are named in this lawsuit, that could bankrupt them. There's a
Absolutely.
lot of them that are talked about dissolving and filing bankruptcy before this even comes to their door. What's your thoughts about that?
You're absolutely right, and I'm seeing it. So, in my brokerage in Austin, I just onboarded quite a few people, and quite a few more coming this week and next week because of three brokerages that just shut down over there. And they're three smaller brokerages that saw the writing on the wall, and so they're shutting down, and that's why I'm expanding even more over there.
Yep.
So I see that coming down here as well. I think what's going to happen is that. They're going to say that, hey, listen, I can either sell real estate or do something different in the real estate world still without having all this liability on me.
Hmm.
Whereas this is where, and I'm not trying to say anybody's better, independents are better or big brands are better, but I feel like the big brands are the ones that are actually going to do a little bit better right now.
I do too. Yes.
I,
You
I,
can't
I
sustain this.
yeah, I mean, look, Tricia, let's be honest. Everybody knows you as Tricia Turner.
Yeah.
Half the time, nobody even knows where you work,
No,
right?
they
You
don't.
know, and let's be honest with me. Everybody knows me as the bearded broker. Half the time they don't know. They don't know. And even if they do somewhat know that I work at Remax, they don't know it's Remax Fine Properties, which is different from Remax Southwest and Remax,
Yes.
Woodlands and all that. They don't know that.
You're
So
kind of like Cher Nimesh, though. You're really known as Nimesh.
yeah, but when and this is not an ego thing, but
Yeah.
when you and I can run around and people don't care where we are and we are who we are, why are we with the big names? Because of the support, because of the long term, because of the vision, because of liability, like because of all of this type of stuff, we feel more comfortable, which in turn helps our agents feel more comfortable, which in turn helps the customers feel more comfortable. Yeah.
Think about it like this. I was talking to somebody the other day. I'm like, as an independent broker owner, you got 20, 30, 50 agents underneath you, whatever. Probably only 5 of them actually sell homes. So you're really not even profitable, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, you get pulled into this class action lawsuit, means only one seller has to raise their hand and say, you misrepresented them and you didn't tell them it was negotiable. One seller, that's all it takes. And you're pulled in. And then you're slapped with millions or billions in damages. It's not sustainable. And it's crazy that this is happening in the mesh chart industry. Absolutely crazy. But I think our industry needs a shakeup, unfortunately. And the predictions now, 60,000 have already left, 60,000 agents have already left, and it's not even December yet. So annual dues haven't come in yet, right?
Higher.
Yes. Yeah.
I saw the thing the other day. It's actually up to 100,000 now.
Yeah, you know what? The number became, it's 20 to 40% of our industry is expected to be gone.
That's a lot, but okay, this is going to be the unpopular opinion that you just alluded to, and that I'm going to reinforce.
Okay.
Our industry 100% needs a shakeup. I hate when people don't take this industry seriously, just like in any job. If you're a doctor and you're performing the way you're supposed to be performing, and you have a group of 7 or 8 in your hospital system, and you have this one guy that's always on vacation, you're not going to like it.
No.
Or one guy that doesn't go to the conferences to learn something different or to update their systems or anything like that. You're not going to like that person being in your industry because it makes you look bad, or that that doesn't ever show up for his appointments because he's a doctor and he can do whatever he wants. It's the same thing with us. We are not happy with every single agent out there, and I don't want to protect every single agent.
No.
I only want to be supportive of the agents that take this seriously and are doing it for the right reasons, for the people, about the people, and that they can end up making a good, successful career out of it if they do it that way.
For sure. And I think this is going to force those agents that look at discount models and such, and that's where they want to go because they think they're going to earn more. They're not, because most of those will be gone, and it's going to force them, or they'll be more attracted to those of us that are out there actually growing and thriving and actually educating and training our agents so that they are relevant.
Educating and training. Tricia, why are you doing this right now today? Why are you doing this? Are you getting a client out of this? No. Are you getting an agent out of this? Maybe, but that's not why you're doing it.
No.
You're here to educate the whole industry. You're not here to educate real people, like real agents only.
No.
And I'm not here to just educate Remax agents or Remax Fine Properties agents. No, we're here because we want to see the industry get better. So there are people like us that want to do that and see everybody succeed in that way. But you have to want to be a part of that, and if not, then you are gonna get shaken up here very quickly.
For sure. When you look at like the future, and of course, again, we don't know. It's unfolding little by day. It's changing. We don't know. I believe the buyer agent fee is going to be changed forever. What's your thoughts in 2024? What do you think that's going to look like for buyer agents?
I think you're right. I think okay, let's just get on to the deep part of it, right? I think buyers are going to have to learn or buyer agents are going to learn how to have a better value proposition as well. Okay. Mm-hmm. So knowing before, like, you can't say things like, oh my God, I work for free. No, you don't. You can't say that. You're not paying the commission. Well, yeah, no, yes, they are. So stop saying things like that. Right.
Yeah.
But if there's no compensation offered up by the listing agent, then you have to get your compensation somewhere. And to be able to show your value proposition to the buyer, your buyer, that's going to be where people are going to make it or break it, or break here. Now, the interesting thing is that in Texas, I haven't seen it much. I've seen it around the country already. Around the country, I've seen it change a lot. In Texas, I haven't seen it much. Houston, I definitely haven't seen a lot of it. And Austin, here and there, I have, but not too bad. So I think that's going to change. Now, what's going to be interesting also is that, Tricia, you never know. It might not be a percentage anymore. You know what's going to happen? It might be something like hey, here's for this level of work. Here's what here's what I charge. Here's what I charge. And here's what I charge. Pick one, So it could be something like that where it's just a nominal fee for this, nominal fee for that, a little bit more for that. But what's really interesting is that what the industry, or some of the people in the industry don't understand is it's not just about us. It's
Mm-mm.
also about how are we going to make this happen with the lenders, right?
Right.
So if I have a buyer that's paying my commission, and let's just say it's a $20,000 commission, is that lender going to allow that $20,000 to be a part of that loan, right? More than likely not.
Yeah.
Who has $20,000 to pay my fee just like that? Nobody does, you know?
Yeah.
So that we're going to have to get creative, I think, if it goes that way, but I don't think Texas is going to get affected like that much.
When you look at, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it was the CEO of Next Gen, huge organization, right? And he talked for over an hour, and he said in his interview, without wavering, 100% you're going to see all MLSs across the board nationwide forbid us from offering a buyer agent commission. What's your thoughts about that? He said forbid. He used that word.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, all MLSs, he said.
I don't like saying that somebody's opinion is wrong, but that's his opinion, right?
Yeah.
I don't agree with that opinion. That's what I will say. I do not agree with that opinion one bit. I'll tell you right now, it's not good for the consumer. Like, let's take this down to a simplistic level, right? Tricia, you have a listing. You are not offering any kind of compensation for me to bring a buyer. So why would I bring a buyer? And if I'm not getting paid by something, I'm not doing this for my health. I have a business and a family, and all of that. So if a buyer says, well, Nimesh, I'm not going to use you because I'm not going to pay your fee, I'm going to call Tricia directly. Okay, you're welcome to. Absolutely, you can. Now, Tricia, you've been with this seller for what, about 2 months now, prepping them, knowing their ins and outs, knowing their financials, knowing what they're trying to do, what their take home is, everything. How are you going to help that buyer properly without giving up what the seller really wants? You can't.
Can't.
You absolutely cannot.
It's unethical.
How is I think it is. And
It is.
I'm not saying you cannot do it. Like we do intermediaries or
Mhm.
anything like that here all the time. But there's straightforwardness to it where, here, listen, I represent the seller here and I've known a lot about the seller. I can't tell you anything. I can give you some information here, but you have to make your own decisions. You're pretty transparent. That happens here and there with my listings. It happens here and there all the time.
Yeah.
But overall, as a consumer, that's what's going to happen. Consumers are going to get screwed. Buying houses, they're never going to know if they're in the right place, right pricing, right any of that, because you're there to help protect the seller. So that I just don't see that happening. I really don't. And as far as going back to forbid, like, what's the point of MLSs forbidding you to offer compensation? That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
Because then, and look, the MLS has got to make money too, right? So if that's the case, then why would anybody even join your MLS? Right. So I just don't see that happening.
That's an interesting thing that you say. So when you say that, I'm thinking so because everyone that's watching these things, there are business owners and entrepreneurs that are going to spin things off. Well, we think it's going to go in this direction. So here's this new platform. And maybe you don't need MLS anymore at all. Like this is the Wild West, I think, coming.
Yeah. But I think look, real estate is chaotic, right? It's always been chaotic from the simple deal to the overall brokerages to the overall what's going on with our industry in general, right? But I can't see it being so wild west that, I mean, you know what we can parallel this to for a minute in our industry? We can parallel this to commercial real estate.
Yes.
Okay? Commercial real estate does not have as many restrictions and rules that we have to follow as regular residential real estate agents, right? Yet they offer up compensation. They have their ways of getting out there. And so we can parallel to that. I just think that the second, I don't know, there's going to be a 1 month period where some MLS doesn't offer it up and there's no compensation and only the listing agents are going to be on there. All the buyers agents are going to drop out of that MLS. All the consumers are going to be like, what the heck is going on here? Everybody's going to have a huge chaotic nightmare. And then suddenly they're going to be like, no, this is not working. We need to go back to cooperative competition or cooperative stuff here, So
Well, if you look at like the history of real estate, number one, I mean, we're in a down market. We've had history shows this is one of the fourth worst times in real estate in
Mhm.
history of real estate. This has been a really hard 12 months. I believe 24 is going to be an amazing one. I'm telling everybody, like, we're going to score in 24. I think number one and two and three and four, like it brings us, you and I, closer together and
Mhm.
people that we collaborate with. Cause it's like, we're not going down, like gloves are off. We're going to fight together. We're going to fight this BS that's coming at us, not scared, not going to live in fear. It actually angers me and it makes me have an even louder voice.
Yeah.
And it's going to run people out of the industry. It is. Should they be out of the industry? Likely so. It
Absolutely.
is.
Yeah. No,
It's evolution.
I agree with you. I mean, there's a lot of people that like with any industry though, right? Like any industry, there's some good ones and there's some bad ones. That's just what's going to happen. But yeah, people like us that are professional and that want to perfect our craft and want to share and want to make everything better overall for everyone involved, we're going to continue to thrive and we'll be just fine. I'm not scared of 24. In fact, I'm actually excited about 24. I'm excited about 25 as well, right?
Me
Because
too.
then 25 will really be able to say, okay, all this chaotic crap that happened in 24, look at the people that are still going and we're going on our way up, right? Barring any kind of world pandemic again. So
Now, though, so
that's
as
very,
we're
but I
coming,
just want to go back to what you said. It's very interesting about this MLS is forbidding that. That just doesn't make any sense to me. It just makes zero sense to me.
yeah, and he was like so emphatic about it. I was like, holy crap. And he said, he repeated himself, and he's like, and I'm saying 100%. I was like, dang, that's a bold statement right here publicly on an interview.
Yeah, I have quite a few of my friends around the country that are part of the MLS boards, and even here in Houston, but all around the country, I have people, and so I keep up with them all the time, just like you do. We like to talk, we like to educate, or we like to learn from other people as well. I keep up with them all the time. I'm not hearing anything like that, not even close to the sort. So.
Good. When we're like to kind of close this up, because we always want to like have people improve their lives and what can they do to prepare for this. So how are you run a huge organization, very successful, you're expanding where people are retracting, you're expanding, which is so cool. As we prepare to end out 2023 and help our agents in 2024, what are you changing or doing differently to make sure that they are successful as we move forward?
Oh boy, you ready for this one?
Yeah, I don't know, am I?
I love answering this question lately. I've been getting this question a lot, not only from my agents, but other people in the industry and interviews. And, I get people asking me for stuff all the time. It is the most basic answer I'm about to give you here in a second.
Okay.
It's back to the basics. Okay. Back to the basics. Stop being distracted by all this other stuff. Now, there's a difference between being distracted and actually being in the know. Be in the know. Tricia, you're on different things. You want to know, you're reading this, you're reading that, and then you're asking other people questions so you can really dive into it. That's you not being distracted. That's you being in the know. Okay. But the distractions and oh my god, the whole place is going down and this is happening and this is what I heard, and no, go find out for yourself and understand. But in the end, here's what I tell everyone: I'm not the reason you succeed. I'm definitely not the reason you fail, right? It's on you. You run your own business. So go back to the basics. It's a people business still. Remember a couple of years ago when everyone was like, oh my God, the real estate agent's about to get out of the business.
Oh, yeah.
AI is going to come in the way. Oh, when things like, oh my goodness, Redfin and Open Door and all those kind of things. Oh, the real estate agent is dead. Never going to happen. It's still a real estate business. It's still a people to people, handshake to handshake, eye to eye type of business, right? So go back to that. Go back to that. Those are easy things to do. Go back to writing cards. Go back to having conversations. Go back to doing open houses and actually conversing with people, knowing your areas. The more you do that, the more you educate the public, your community, the better it's going to be overall for you. And that's it. That's the magic pill that nobody wants to hear because they think it's going to be some shiny new app or object or new real estate brokerage or this and that's going to save them. That's not going to be the thing that saves you.
I think you and I are cloned from the same cloth. I literally had this conversation yesterday in our sales meeting, and I told them I wrote like all weekend long. My brain was just firing all weekend, and
Yeah.
I told them yesterday in our meeting the word for 2024 is going to be focus. Like, stop being so distracted. We have to stay focused on what we do. This is our job. This is how we do things. Stay focused on these daily activities consistently, and you will be fine.
I love it. You and I are, that's why we get along, right? I mean, I learn from you, but I also enjoy joking around with you. But yeah, we have the same vision and values and all that. And that makes me feel good that there's somebody else. I'm not the crazy one, right? Like,
No.
I'm crazy. No, she thinks the same thing that I do. Okay, great. We're on the right path, right? And listen, get as much knowledge as you can from people that have been there before, right? So, I'm going to name a couple of people here, like Jared James, Brian Buffini. These are all top end, high end coaches that have not only sold real estate successfully for the longest time, but also coach and mentor so many different people. And it's nothing to do with Remax or Keller Williams or anything like that. It's just these are people that watch what's going on and that move markets.
Yeah.
Listen to what they have to say. And all of their messages are very similar to what mine and yours are right now. It's the same messages of back to the basics, focus, forget about the distractions, concentrate on what you can and take care of people. And as easy and simplified as that sounds, that's what's working for a lot of my people right now,
And I think on like an end note of that too, Nimesh, I think, yes, I agree 1000% getting back to the basics and what you do consistently. And I also think, like, stop taking our profession for granted. We become the expert in your area. Don't be this fly by night realtor or broker or whatever your title is. Become the expert.
Yeah. That's a key, right? Jared, I'm going to say what Jared says all the time. It's time for the professional.
Big
And
time.
I absolutely love that. That's going back to what you keep saying about shake up in the market and all that. I love it because I'm a pro and I want all the non-pros to get out of the business, right?
Right.
So like you said, be an expert. Like I said, go back to the basics or perfect your craft. That's what being a pro is all about. Educating the public, perfecting your craft, being an expert in your knowledgeable reach, and the professionals are going to make it through 24 and 25 and they're on.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm so glad you jumped on here, Nimesh. Number one, you cleared up a lot of stuff that I have heard and has been in my head, because I was like the first thing to tell one of my agents. I was like, I heard that Remax is no longer going to offer buyer agent commission. Like, we really need to pay attention to this. Get you on here.
No, I'm glad to hear. I'm glad too, right? And then that's the thing, though, right? You're not just taking it for granted. You're actually asking somebody, right? So yeah, nope, not even close to the truth on that. So
well, we have to know these things because I got to squash these stupid rumors that are going around. I got to help our organization, not hurt it.
Absolutely. Good.
Final word. Hey, Nimesh, how can people, number one, get a hold of you? Because y'all, you hear he's in different areas now, not just here in Houston. How do they find you?
Yeah. All Central Texas and, greater Houston area. Quickest way to get a hold of me is my phone number, 832-567-9400. Text me anytime, 832-567-9400. But another good way is just follow me on social media, whether it's Nimesh Patel on Facebook or Nimesh23 Patel on Instagram. Follow me on social media. I like to give some advice. I also do a lot of silly shit on there. So maybe I can make you laugh.
Your videos are classic. I love them.
Thank you.
You gotta keep it real, right? We gotta make this fun. Like we're going in some stupid shit right now, but it's like we still have a good time and we still have great energy.
All jokes aside and all this stuff aside, I'll tell you, Tricia, the reason that we get along, forget about our visions and all that kind of stuff, is because we do keep it real.
Yep.
I know that you're not out there saying something here and then doing something different here and talking about this. You're the same person. When I've seen you online, I've seen you on a video, I've seen you with people, I've seen you speak, I've seen you on stage, I've seen you in person, in a small group. You're the exact same person every time, and that's what I strive to be too.
I love that. Thank you, Nimesh.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys, you real estate agents, number one, go pro, like become the expert. Don't go into 24 thinking that you're entitled to something. You're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to be part of something big if you want to do something big, and you're going to have to be the expert or you're going to be irrelevant, period.
That's it.
All right, y'all, have an awesome day. Stay tuned next week for some more info on this. Bye, y'all.
Bye.